Hey there, in this video I'm going to give you an expired data overview. Now that you purchased the Mojo expired service, it's really important that you know how the process works. So we're going to cover things like how to modify your settings, what kind of property data we post, when we post that data, and lastly, where that data goes inside of the Mojo system. So the first thing I'm going to draw your attention to is the new Manage button that shows up in the lead store. This is where you're going to go now to make any changes to your expired data service. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Manage. Once I do that, I see a grid with the current settings I have set up. So this is the area I'm receiving expired data for. On top of that, we have a setting that, if checked, will automatically scrub your incoming expired data from Mojo against the federal do not call list. And we will automatically remove the phone number from those records and mark those as do not call. If left unchecked, we will still identify that the records are on the DNC. However, we still reveal the phone number and you can upload those to the dialer to prospect. So that's up to you how you want to handle incoming do not call, and this is the setting you would use in order to determine that. In the data grid, again, we have our areas that we purchased. In this case, it's Florida, Brevard County, with this zip code, with this radius, with this purchase date, with this expiration date, and the status is active, meaning it's actively paid for, and therefore I'm getting updates daily. I've got an option here for settings, and I've got an option for purchase more months, and I have an option to delete. The first thing we're going to talk about is the settings area. Inside the settings area, you'll notice it looks just like it did when you purchased the service. I can change my zip code, I can change my radius, and I can choose to either remove or add cities or zip codes to the area that I'm receiving data for. And beneath that, we've got a map, which gives us a visual indication of where I'm pulling in that data from. So you can make changes here, and then you can click Save to save those changes. Let me back up again. Back at the grid, we're going to talk about deleting the settings. At any time, you can delete your settings. And what that means is you'll still be subscribed to the service until your expiration date. However, you will stop receiving new data, and updates that happen daily will stop taking place. However, the existing data that we posted to your account will remain inside of your database. So now we're going to talk about what we post. And to do that, I'm going to head over to the data and dialer area. Each day, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to post any new expired, withdrawn, canceled, or any off-market property that lines up with your settings are going to come into the Mojo system for you to prospect. At the same time, we're going to update any existing properties that are in the database that have updated, for instance, from expired to active, or from active to an off-market status to be prospected again. And where that data is going to go is the property's calling lists. These are the lists that you're going to load into the Power Dialer to complete your prospecting, whether it's expireds, withdrawns, or canceleds, or any off-market listing status that you get from us that comes into your Mojo account will all be found here. Now, the main list is a properties list, and beneath that we have sub-lists. And sub-lists, by default, are going to align with the listing status for the different properties that we posted. For example, your canceled properties are going to come into your canceled sublist. Your expired properties are going to come into your expired sublist. And these are the options you're going to choose when you load up the Power Dialer. And to begin a power dialing session, you just simply select the sublist you want to dial and choose the Power Dialer option. And we have Power Dialer videos embedded in the UI for you to understand further how to load up lists to dial. So again, we're going to post new data between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. Eastern, and we're going to do the updating at the same time. Each day when you log into Mojo, you're going to see a pop-up, as long as your expired service is active with Mojo, and it's going to give you a detailed breakdown of what happened that day with your expired service, how many new records were entered in the system, how many were updated, etc. Now, there are a few special sublists. Unlike a lot of the data providers that post data into Mojo from other services, we do post anything that's agent corporate owned, as well as anything we were unable to find phone numbers for. Agent and corporate owned, go into the agent corporate owned sublist. From here, you'll see here in the full name column, it'll tell you whether it's corporate owned or agent owned. And we also have, again, the no phone sublist where we post any data where, generally speaking, we found the tax record owner name, but we were unable to find a phone number. We may find an email address. And this is an important detail because you may want to door knock, send letters, or apply drip emails to any of these no phone off-market records. Even though they don't have phone numbers, you can still contact those and convert them into listings. Last but not least, I'm going to open up a record and show you some of the available property fields we give you on each contact record. So to do this, I'm going to go to my expired sublist, and I'm going to go ahead and open up a record. We'll see here that all of the agent comments have been posted inside of the notes field. That's where those go. And you'll see here that we have miscellaneous fields that auto-populate with data based on the information on the MLS, such as status change date, tax address, listing status, and so on. And these fields are often referenced when on a prospecting call. That's going to wrap up this video on the Mojo expired service. If you have any questions, always reach out to our technical support folks. They'd be happy to answer those questions for you. Make it a great day.